July 21, 1918. Near Baccarat, France, German forces captured an American soldier. He belonged to the 307th Infantry Regiment, 77th Division. Clutched in his hands was a weapon, unlike anything German intelligence had ever encountered. A Winchester Model 1897 shotgun, with a 20-inch barrel, a perforated steel heat shield, and a bayonet lug affixed to the tip. German officers studied the weapon meticulously. They measured the barrel, examined the pump action mechanism, tested the trigger, and finally fired it using captured American ammunition. Each shell held 9 lead pellets, each roughly .33 caliber. At 10 meters, the shot spread covered nearly 1 meter. At 20 meters, almost 2 meters, a single trigger pull could strike multiple soldiers at once. The implications were immediate. This was no ordinary rifle. It demanded no precise aiming at individual targets. Point it in the general direction of the enemy. Pump the action, and let the spread of buckshot do the work. In the confined chaos of trench warfare, where engagements often occurred at ranges of 5 to 20 meters, this weapon completely altered the tactical landscape. For 3 long years, both sides had relied on rifles, machine guns, grenades, and artillery. Weapons designed for open battlefields, awkwardly adapted to trench fighting. Rifles required accurate shots at single targets. Machine guns demanded setup and crew coordination. Grenades had limited reach. But this American shotgun, it was engineered perfectly for the brutal reality of trench combat. Close quarters, narrow, twisting trenches, sudden encounters around corners, where soldiers met each other at arm's length. The German General Staff recognized the danger immediately. They had introduced poison gas, deployed flamethrowers, wielded sawtooth bayonets, fired heavy artillery. Yet this American weapon was different. It wasn't exotic. It wasn't cruel. It was simply more effective at close range, and effectiveness in combat could be far more lethal than cruelty. American soldiers called it the trench gun. Officially, the designation was riot shotgun with bayonet adapter. The United States Army ordered roughly 25,000 shotguns for deployment in France. Most were Winchester Model 1897s. Another 3,500 were Remington Model 10s, all modified for military use, with heat shields, bayonet lugs, and shortened barrels. Each gun held 6 shells. Each shell packed 9 double-aught buckshot pellets. At close range, one trigger pull could strike 3, sometimes 4 men at the same time. Effective killing range, 30 meters. Inside trenches, where combat occurred at 5 to 15 meters. The shotgun was unrivaled. The principle was simple. Traditional rifles were made for long-range accuracy. 1 bullet, 1 target. Effective over hundreds of meters. Trench warfare changed everything. Fighting happened at close range. Trenches were narrow, twisting, full of obstacles. Soldiers met enemies around corners, 5 meters away. In that environment, precision mattered less than firepower. A shotgun, firing 9 pellets per trigger pull, offered 9 times the chance of hitting a target compared to a rifle firing a single bullet. The math was undeniable. The U.S. Army had foreseen this before joining the war. American military observers had watched British and French forces fight the Germans for 3 years. They saw the brutal mechanics of trench warfare, close quarters combat, hand-to-hand struggles, infantry tactics failing. The British wielded clubs, the French carried knives, the Germans used flamethrowers and grenades. Everyone improvised, searching for weapons that worked in trenches. The Americans approached the problem differently. They had a weapon already proven, The pump-action shotgun, used for decades in hunting and law enforcement, fast-firing, devastating at close range, reliable, simple to operate. American police had deployed shotguns for riot control since the 1880s. Hunters relied on them for deer and waterfowl. The military needed only to adapt the design for combat. The visionary behind this adaptation was William Gorinway Eager, from Valdosta, Georgia. Eager was not a military officer. He was a civilian engineer, holding a mechanical engineering degree from the University of Pennsylvania. By September 1917, he managed a local lighting company, yet Eager followed the war closely, understanding the tactical challenges American forces would face in France. He spent weeks preparing a detailed engineering report. It analyzed trench warfare conditions based on British and French experience. It outlined the limitations of current weapons in close-quarters combat, and it proposed modifying commercial shotguns for military use. Specifically, Eager recommended both pump-action and semi-automatic models. The Winchester Model 1897 and Browning Auto 5 were viable candidates. The modifications were straightforward. Shorten the barrel to 20 inches for maneuverability. Add a steel heat shield so soldiers could grip the barrel after repeated firing. Attach a bayonet lug compatible with the standard M1917 bayonet. Include sling swivels for easier transport. The result: a weapon optimized for trench assault and defense. Eager submitted the report to the War Department in September 1917. 1 month later, Major General Henry McCain, the Army's Adjutant General, responded. General John Pershing, commander of the American Expeditionary Forces, reviewed the proposal. Pershing approved it enthusiastically. He had served in the Philippines, where American forces used shotguns against Moro fighters, and he knew firsthand their effectiveness in close combat. The War Department acted swiftly. By November 1917, contracts were issued to Winchester and Remington. Winchester would modify the Model 1897. Remington would produce a modified Model 10. Time was short. Modifications had to be simple, production rapid, using existing commercial designs to minimize tooling costs. The Winchester Model 1897 had a unique feature: slam firing. Unlike modern pump shotguns, it lacked a trigger disconnector. Hold the trigger, pump the action, and it fired with every cycle. A trained soldier could empty the gun in just 2 seconds. 54 buckshot pellets, at ranges under 10 meters. The result was catastrophic for the enemy. The first shipment arrived in France in early 1918. 5,000 guns, 4,000 assigned to guard German prisoners, 1,000 sent to combat units for testing. These combat units received small allocations, 10 to 20 shotguns per regiment. They were issued to soldiers who would deploy them offensively and defensively. The first major combat use came at Sitri, April 20th, 1918. American soldiers of the 26th Infantry Division, the Yankee Division, faced German stormtroopers. The attack began at 0400 hours with an artillery bombardment. 3,000 German stormtroopers advanced. The Americans, mostly men from Connecticut and New England, fought back with rifles, machine guns, grenades, and a few shotguns. The battle was chaotic. Americans suffered 81 killed, 424 wounded, 130 captured. 40 of the dead were from Connecticut. Yet the line held. German forces withdrew after 24 hours. In the aftermath, it was difficult to determine which weapons had been most effective. But soldiers using shotguns reported a clear difference. The shotgun changed the way they fought. Defenders could fire at groups of a dozen attackers without precise aim. Point, pull, pump. Fire again. The spread covered enough area to hit multiple targets under 20 meters. Traditional rifles demanded deliberate aiming, seconds of preparation, seconds that, in trench combat, could mean death. The shotgun removed most of those steps. Movement appeared. Point, fire. 9 pellets, spreading automatically, made novices nearly as deadly as veterans. The psychological impact was profound. Soldiers armed with shotguns felt more confident. They knew that sudden encounters around corners or from dugouts could be met instantly with overwhelming firepower. Confidence translated into more aggressive tactics. Units with shotguns cleared trenches faster, with fewer casualties. The battle at Sitri was celebrated in American newspapers. Reports praised courage and determination. Some even highlighted the shotguns, calling them trench sweepers or the terror of the trenches. The exaggeration served morale, but it caught German attention. German intelligence read the reports carefully. By late April 1918, they noted American pump-action shotguns in trench combat. Short-barreled, rapid-firing, devastating at close range. German commanders wanted more information. German military lawyers reviewed shotguns under the Hague Convention, 1907. Article 23, subsection E, forbidding weapons designed to cause unnecessary suffering. They argued multiple pellets caused more severe wounds, increased bleeding, higher infection risk, greater suffering than rifles. Strategically, Germany was motivated. Shotguns gave American units a tactical edge, clearing trenches 3 times faster, reducing attacker casualties by 40 to 50%. German officers debated countermeasures. Could they produce their own shotguns? Yes. But production focused on rifles, machine guns, artillery. Could tactics adapt? Partially. But at close range, the shotgun outclassed the rifle. By September 19, 1918, Germany sent a formal protest via Switzerland, delivered to U.S. Secretary of State Robert Lansing by Swiss Chargé Friedrich Odelin. The protest demanded the U.S. stop using shotguns, citing Article 23, subsection E, and threatened death for any American soldier captured with one. The threat, a blatant violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, revealed German desperation. German military lawyers reviewed shotguns under the Hague Convention, 1907. Article 23, subsection E, forbidding weapons designed to cause unnecessary suffering. They argued multiple pellets caused more severe wounds, increased bleeding, higher infection risk, greater suffering than rifles. Strategically, Germany was motivated. Shotguns gave American units a tactical edge, clearing trenches 3 times faster, reducing attacker casualties by 40 to 50%. German officers debated countermeasures. Could they produce their own shotguns? Yes. But production focused on rifles, machine guns, artillery. Could tactics adapt? Partially. But at close range, the shotgun outclassed the rifle. By September 19, 1918, Germany sent a formal protest via Switzerland, delivered to U.S. Secretary of State Robert Lansing by Swiss Chargé Friedrich Odelin. The protest demanded the U.S. stop using shotguns, citing Article 23, subsection E, and threatened death for any American soldier captured with one. The threat, a blatant violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions, revealed German desperation. Secretary Lansing forwarded the protest to the War Department. Brigadier General Samuel Ansel, acting Judge Advocate General, produced a 5-page memorandum dismantling the German argument. He cited historical precedent. Shotguns had been used in warfare for centuries, from the 17th to 18th century blunderbusses to the Philippine-American War, 1899 to 1902, to the 1916 Pancho Villa expedition. No nation had ever protested their use. The shotgun's disappearance from European armies was tactical, not legal. Ansel addressed unnecessary suffering. .33 caliber pellets were no more severe than pistol or rifle wounds. The cumulative effect might be lethal, but that was the weapon's purpose. He highlighted German hypocrisy: poison gas, flamethrowers, saw-tooth bayonets, all far crueler, yet justified as militarily necessary. The memorandum concluded, German protest lacked legal merit. It was propaganda aimed at undermining morale. Assistant Secretary of War Benedict Crowell agreed. Shotguns were ancient, approved, and effective. Killing combatants was not a legal issue. On September 28, 1918, Secretary Lansing sent the official reply to Germany, firm, factual, and dismissive of their threats